So what's up, you guys? Sean the Great here, and welcome back to another video. Today, I just want to talk a little bit about what my favorite anime might be. That's what today's topic is, and I honestly, it's been something that I've been going back and forth with myself on. When it comes to anime, I have grown quite attached. I'll say in the last couple years, I'll say I've indulged a lot of anime. As far as media is involved, it's mainly been well yeah, mainly anime. You know, I haven't really watched anything else aside from, YouTube. Obviously, everybody stays on YouTube these days. But I like to talk about like my favorite anime, and there are a couple that I want to get off my chest right now. And just talk a little bit about what makes them special to me, and if you guys can relate to that at all, or if you have your favorites or anything, just let me know in the comments. And yeah, so let's get right into it. So the first on my list I want to kind of tackle is this show that I watched ages ago, like when I first got right back into watching anime. It was like some years ago I found about it, and I just started watching it. It's called High School of the Dead. Now I know that some people have heard of that one. Some people, whether you've watched it or whether you've seen countless clips online about it. But I think it was a pretty good anime for me. And even more so because I watched it in dub, because the dub for that show, when it comes to anime, good dubs were kind of slim pickings at some point. Like at one point I was watching I've watched Naruto and I've watched My Hero Academia, which it has some pretty good dubbing too. But for a smaller series to have such a good dub, that's pretty dang good. And so yeah, that's one thing that I like about the show. Another thing I really liked about it was, I guess, the different play on like the zombie aspect of things. Like there were a lot of tropey things. It obviously felt prey to like the anime stuff and everything, like fan service and stuff. But I really liked that, the cast that we get to know is basically, essentially, they're kind of like a family, and they kind of stick together and everything like that. And even when they're separate, they still find a way to kind of get back together. And then it's just, all the, the show's got pretty good animation. I forgot who animated it, but it's got pretty good animation, I think so. And I liked the characters in it. Yeah, a lot of fan service. Now, if you're looking for a show that's got fan service, that's got a good bit of it. But yeah, and I really like the story. It's unfortunate that the author passed away. Rest in peace to him. And it's unfortunate that the story will never be finished, but it's one of those things. It happens every now and then. But I thought I enjoyed the show. I really did. And I actually have it on Blu-ray if anybody even cares about Blu-ray these days. But yeah, I just have it just in case the power outage or something like that, and I can watch it. And if my internet goes down, it's more like can't really watch if your power's out. But anyways, that's one. Another series that I really like is Konosuba. Konosuba is another genre, basically, where High School of the Dead was kind of serious. Konosuba is just pure comedy. That's all it is. It's a comedy isekai, and I think it's among the first isekai that I really got into, if I remember correctly. I don't remember how I found it, but one day I just started watching, and I was, you know, ROTFL. You know what I'm saying? I was just side splitting. You know, it's one of those shows that's really like when they have comedy, it really hits, it really lands. Um, and I love Kazuma and his antics, where he's basically like this garbage character, but he's not really that much of a garbage character. He's honestly got he's pretty smart, but you know he's one of those characters that's just got put in a precarious situation where he's got he's dropped in the world with no powers. You know, he didn't have anything special for real, except for his ability to steal things, which if y'all know, real ones know. Um, and Aqua is just hilarious. She's always into something, and we never really see her goddess powers for real for most of the series, and I think that's what makes it funnier. And then you know the other two, obviously, Megumin and Darkness, and all four of them when they get together, they're just hilarious. And then everything else happens in season 2. There's supposed to be something new coming. I'm waiting for that. I know there's either a spin-off or a new series. I'm not entirely sure, but I've watched season 1 and season 2. I've watched season 1 more than I've watched season 2, honestly, because season 1 was just a banger. Season 2 was good too, but I really like season 1, and I just constantly rewatch it. We used to rewatch it all the time, so here's hoping for something new for it. So another one on my list is this show called ReZero, and it just so happens to be another isekai, but not comedic. It's more psychological than anything. It's real gory. The idea of, again, a protagonist that's dropped in his world with no powers for real. He does have sort of have a power. Spoiler. I don't know if I want to give out spoilers, but he's got a power where he can't really control it unless he says like a certain phrase or whatever. But there's that, and you know he keeps dying and coming back to life and everything, and a lot of people don't like it for that reason or something like that, because they always called him out, and you know he makes a lot of decisions in the show where it would be perceived as dumb, I guess. But honestly, I feel like it's more realistic I think. And when it comes to anime, that's not really that's not really a popular thing. Realism, because it's anime, right? It's supposed to be outlandish and over the top, but he has realistic reactions to everything that happens in that world. Um, like I said, he has no power. So if somebody hits him with something strong, he's probably gonna die or lose a limb or something like that. There's no shortage of losing limbs in this show. I'll tell you that. And he goes through entire cycles of dying. But I really like. I personally I like it. And he just goes through a lot. Personally, he has a lot of character growth. He has constant character. What's the word? Character development. Lord, I couldn't even think of the word. He's always got to come up with something new on the spot, because this could be a life, or not life changing, but he could die in any moment, and he comes to the point where he realizes that a lot of the time. Sometimes he handles things not so well, but he learns, and he's just like, oh, I could die like this if I do it this way. So let's try it this way. And sometimes he takes his death as a mulligan and stuff like that. Anyways, I really enjoy the show. It's got 2 seasons. Yeah, 2 seasons. Hopefully we'll see a 3rd season. Probably won't see one for a while, if I remember correctly. They said it won't be one for another while. 2nd season came out last year, I think. But yeah, I really love that show. And so I'm gonna put two shonen out there. My Hero Academia and Naruto. Now, My Hero Academia, I'm actually reading that, and I'm very up to date with it. It's like 300 plus chapters right now, and I am deep in the story. And I'm also watching the anime. It's in season 6 right now, so and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, just you know, first of all, let me talk about Naruto. So Naruto, was one of my first shonen anime that I was really into. Didn't read it. I didn't get into reading manga until like some years after I started Naruto. But man, I remember my Naruto journey, and it was in my last video. If you want to go check that out, where I get back into anime or whatever. Naruto is just has a special place in my heart. I guess it's not to sound corny or anything like that, but it's just when I started Naruto, I started everything. I was watching all kinds of things, and that it was kind of my gateway anime because everybody has a gateway anime. Personally, that was mine. And I just I I love the story. Of course, it's got some flaws and everything like that, but to point out all the flaws and everything all the time, it's got to be tiring sometimes. I'm just more of a person to enjoy things the way they are. Um, but yeah, I mean personally, I really like you know I really like that the show. I've stuck around for Naruto for part one, as it's called, which is like the 200 or some episodes, 220 episodes, and then Shippuden was 500. I sat through every episode, filler or not. And as far as fillers go, Naruto's not nearly as bad because I've been around the block at this point, and there are some shows that have horrible filler arcs. Um, but yeah, and then I stuck around to the end. Um, and I liked the conclusion, even though some people felt it was kind of eh. But I really liked it personally. I think I did. So yeah, there was that. That's pretty much Naruto, and I stuck around while it was currently airing, you know. While it was on its like last legs, like the last maybe 80 to 100 episodes, and that's when I caught up. And yeah, I just really enjoy watching the series, and if I could erase it from my memory and watch it again, I definitely would. I used to watch the series on repeat constantly. Um, yeah, and I hope maybe it's time for another Naruto marathon. I can't speak English. Maybe maybe before the year ends, but it's gonna take a while. So that's Naruto. My next one is actually I found out around the time I started it is it took inspiration from Naruto, and that's My Hero Academia. The author Horikoshi, I found out he takes heavy inspiration from Naruto, and I just thought that was kind of cool. And you can just kind of feel like the heart. You can like feel it in the storytelling, and in the characters, and their desires. Especially the main character, Izuku. Like I can really feel it. Like that dude, he just wants to be as big as All Might. He wants to be the next hero and the next number one hero, basically. And I feel like it's an epic story. Uh, Now it is on the verge of ending pretty soon, which is it's I feel like it didn't run long enough. But at the same time, I don't know. Maybe all good things have to come to an end. Um, Now they're still in high school, right? They're still in high school. They're still in their freshman year, as a matter of fact. So I'm just trying to see when, like, what, how is it gonna end? Like, is there gonna be uh, 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 what's it called? Time skip? I don't know. I don't know if there's gonna be a time skip, but I do know that they are very young and they just started they just started school, so it's just like, why wouldn't we have a part two? My Hero Academia Shippuden, if you will. I mean, I feel like we could get that, but it all depends on if Horikoshi wants to keep writing it. But anyways, I like the characters. My favorite character so far, aside from the main character, is Mirko, because everybody loves him some Mirko, but man, I just listen, listen. When it comes to Mirko, man, my brother will tell you, man, we just got an attachment. I'm trying to tell you. But in all seriousness, I love her character design, and just her demeanor and everything. She just seems so cool, bro. And but yeah, it's my favorite character. But yeah, I really liked My Hero. And when I first started, I was like heavy into it. Um, um, and pretty much when I started watching it, maybe like a year after I started collecting the manga, which I actually have 31 volumes of. I have nearly the entire collection in my room. So I am an avid reader of it. But anyways, so yeah, that's My Hero Academia. Um let's see. Do I have another? I might have one more. Let me think. I've been so versed in anime for the last couple years. It's crazy. But I guess I can throw in my last one right now. So I am currently watching Spy Family, and I'm also reading Spy Family. Uh, I loved part one of season one. I loved it. The intro and outros are bangers. Same for part two, which I'm currently watching, and it's just awesome. The way they mix in like the action and the comedy and the serious moments where people can actually die. Nobody's died, I don't think. Well, the mom, she's an assassin. So I mean, you gotta assume that she's definitely killed some folks. She actually has killed folks in the series, so it makes sense. But they kind of he's the creator's name is I think Tendo or I think I have to double check. I know his name, uh, but yeah, he just seems to be so good because I read the manga. He seems to be good with mixing all of those elements of comedy and action and um just violence and everything. He just seems to fix to mix that up well because it all fits. Because Anya is a doll, obviously. She's a fan favorite, and then you have who's obviously a killer, but she's kind of ditzy and everything and airheaded, and then you have Lloyd, who's like the genius spy, right? And he's like the best at his agency and everything like that, and they all have to work together to kind of make this fake family, which only Anya and Lloyd know the true goals of this whole thing, their whole fake family. But I love me some Spy Family. I recently caught up with the manga, and I was super sad when I found out that I was just like, I don't have any more chapters to watch until or to read till next week. Dang. But I mean, yeah, I'm pretty deep into it. I've been collecting Spy Family too, so hopefully I can get the next two volumes. And yeah, so those are all of my favorites, I think, so far. I don't have a definitive list, but those are all the ones um that stick out to me. One more I want to throw in there is actually a romantic comedy. It took over what was my favorite at the time. I'll say I guess I can name two. So two romantic comedies that are my all-time favorites that I kind of jump in between because I don't know what's better to me is Love is War and My Dress Up Darling. Love both of them. Both of them have plenty of comedic moments. Where while as My Dress Up Darling is more on the adorable side a little bit, and it's got plenty of etchy moments in it. Um, but hey, if you ask anyone, I'll say the story is really good, and I really like um, Maureen, who is the female. Um, I guess she's the protagonist. I think so. Yeah, yeah, that makes. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, she's on the cover of all of the volumes, so yeah. But um, one thing I don't know is if it's shonen. I think it'd be shojo, right? I think. I'm not sure, but I really enjoy it. I'm reading that also. A lot of stuff I'm reading these days. Um, and I watched season one. Season two is supposed to be coming next year, and I will be watching. Um, and it was great when I watched it. I loved it. My siblings loved it too. Um, and then the other one is Love is War. Now, Love is War, we got some history. All the way back in 2019, when it first was airing, I think I caught it when like the first three episodes were already up somewhere. I can't remember where I watched it at. It wasn't on Crunchyroll because I didn't sub to Crunchyroll until like 2020. Um, but man, when I first watched this first three episodes, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna have fun with this, and it's just very comedic. It's a very comedic romantic comedy. Like when it comes to romantic comedies, I'm just so used to the harem device and stuff like that. And it can get kind of tiring with everything being a harem. It's just like, yo, do they all have to have 10 girls behind them? You know? But this one was completely different from any romantic comedy that I've watched. And I really enjoyed it. Um, Now, it's three seasons. I loved all three of the seasons. I watched all three of them. Hell, shoot, I even went back to watch season one, two, and three several times now. And the manga is actually ending tomorrow, if I remember correctly, because today is November 1st. So tomorrow is the last day for the manga, which is a sad day indeed. Because I always thought about reading it. I wish I still could, but I wanted to catch up to it before it, got to the grand finale. But I'll maybe one day I'll probably start reading it. There are three seasons out. The movie is coming out this December, which I hope that's not the last of it. I hope they don't animate all of like the last few chapters. Hopefully we just get like one more good season. Um, Hopefully there's enough for one, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, Love Is War. It's really have had a hold on me for the last 4 years. I think 3 4 years. And yeah, I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna watch the movie though. I don't typically make it my business to watch anime movies. Not really. I'm not really a big anime movie fan. Even with the standalone stuff, the big stuff. But I'll probably watch this one because it's actually canon. So, but yeah, that was all of my favorite anime um, up to this date. There might be a few that I left out, but basically that's kind of like my loose interpretation of my favorites. Maybe it'll be more defined in the future, but I don't really make lists. I definitely couldn't because I am a very what's the word? Well, I don't make lists for things just because I can't make decisions. I'm not good at making decisions. Um, so I mean, those are my favorites. I don't really put one on top of the other because they're all different genres. Um, you know, um, and then some are the same genre, but they're, you know, it's kind of hard to rate them like that. But I like all of them. So yeah, I definitely recommend any of those that I just named. I recommend. Um, but anyways, yeah, that's the video. It was a little bit longer than what I wanted it to be, but uh, just talking, just lamenting what my favorite is. I've always thought about it, but never really had it in my mind what my favorite really was. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you have a favorite or if you have a list of favorites, let me know, and share with the class. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, you guys leave a like, subscribe if you like my content. Maybe I'll talk about more anime things in the future. And maybe I'll do some breakdowns of anime series that I'm watching right now. I'm watching Chainsaw Man, and I'm also watching um, Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War Arc, and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, let me know if y'all want to see that. And yeah, with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.